I never thought one ordinary morning would divide my life into two parts: the person I was and the person I decided to become. If you're watching this, don't scroll away, because 10 years from now, you'll either remember this video as the moment everything changed, or the moment you ignored the warning that could have saved your future. 3 years ago, I had no money, no confidence, no direction. Every night, I promised myself, tomorrow I'll change. But tomorrow became next week, next month, and then another year disappeared without asking for permission. 51967. The hardest part wasn't being broke. It wasn't failing. It was pretending I was okay while secretly watching everyone else move ahead. Every smile I showed the world was hiding a silent war inside my mind. One night, I looked into the mirror and asked myself a question that destroyed every excuse I had ever made. If nothing changes, where will I be 10 years from today? I couldn't answer because I was terrified of the truth. Then something hit me like lightning. My life wasn't falling apart because of bad luck. It was falling apart because every tiny decision I made was quietly building the future I never wanted. Nobody came to save me. No millionaire mentor knocked on my door. No miracle happened overnight. The truth is, the rescue I kept waiting for was supposed to be me. That night, I made one promise: not to become rich, not to become famous, but to become someone my future self would finally be proud of. The next morning, nothing magical happened. I still felt lazy. I still doubted myself. But I learned something powerful. Discipline begins exactly where motivation disappears. Every single day, I forced myself to improve just 1%. One extra page. One extra workout. One extra hour of learning. Tiny actions looked invisible until they completely changed my life. People laughed. They said I had changed. They said I worked too much. But they didn't understand something. Successful people are willing to be misunderstood while everyone else is busy trying to fit in. Then 6 months later, something happened that proved every painful day had been worth it. That moment completely changed the direction of my life forever. 6 months after I made that promise, my life still looked ordinary from the outside. I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous. But something inside me had become unbreakable. For the first time, I trusted myself more than my excuses. Then one afternoon, I met an old friend. He laughed and said, "You're still chasing your dreams? Grow up." I smiled because I realized something. The people who quit first are usually the loudest when telling you to quit too. That night, his words echoed in my head. For a few minutes, I almost believed him. Then I remembered a simple truth. If you let someone else's opinion become your reality, you'll spend your whole life living someone else's dream. From that day, I stopped asking, what if I fail? Instead, I asked, what if I never try? That single question scared me more than failure ever could. I deleted the apps that stole my attention. I turned off the endless notifications. I stopped comparing my chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. And suddenly, I had time. Time I thought never existed. The biggest lie I believed was, I'll start when I feel ready. But the truth is, nobody feels ready. Confidence isn't something you find before the journey. It's something you build while walking through fear. Slowly, people started noticing the change. Not because I became lucky, but because I became consistent. Success loves consistency more than talent. One morning, I opened my notebook and looked at the goals I had written months earlier. Half of them were already complete. That's when I realized small daily actions create impossible results. Then life tested me again. I lost an opportunity one had worked months for. At first, I thought everything was over. But failure wasn't the end. It was simply life asking me one question: how badly do you want this? Instead of quitting, I worked harder. While everyone slept, I learned. While everyone complained, I improved. While everyone waited, I moved. That's when I understood that winners and losers often have the same opportunities, but completely different habits. Exactly 1 year after making that promise, I stood in front of the same mirror where everything had started. But this time, I didn't recognize the person staring back at me. The man in that mirror looked exactly like me, but his eyes were different. They no longer searched for permission. They no longer begged for motivation. They carried something I had never seen before: belief. Then I remember my father. Every morning before sunrise, he left home carrying responsibilities that nobody ever applauded. He wasn't chasing fame. He was protecting our future. As a child, I thought he was just working. As an adult, I realized he was sacrificing dreams so mine could stay alive. That realization broke me. That night, I cried. Not because life was unfair, but because I had wasted years complaining while someone I loved had spent years silently fighting for me. I made another promise. I would never allow the people who believed in me to watch me give up on myself again. Listen carefully, because this may be the most important sentence you'll hear today. Your future is quietly being built by the things you repeat every single day, not by the things you only dream about. 1 hour of learning, 30 minutes of exercise, one difficult conversation, one page of reading. These actions look small today, but 10 years later, they become the life everyone calls luck. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they underestimate the power of small decisions repeated for years. If I could go back and meet my younger self, I wouldn't give him money. I wouldn't give him success. I'd simply whisper, stop waiting. The perfect moment is never coming, because one day you'll wake up and realize your biggest enemy was never failure. It was delay. Every postponed dream quietly stole a piece of your future. Then something happened that changed everything forever. I finally understood the one secret that separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. The secret wasn't talent. It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't luck. The only difference between the people who build extraordinary lives and those who spend years making excuses is that one group acts before they feel ready. I wasted years waiting for confidence. But confidence never came first. Action came first. Every small step I took whispered to my mind, see, you're stronger than you thought. One decision changed everything. Not because it made life easy, but because it made quitting impossible. I stopped asking, can I do this? And started saying, I'll find a way. Today, when people see success, they only notice the finish line. They never see the lonely mornings, the silent nights, the tears, the fear, or the thousands of times I wanted to give up. If you're struggling right now, don't be ashamed. Every person you admire was once invisible. Every winner was once ignored. Every champion once doubted themselves. Remember this, pain has two choices. It can become the excuse that destroys your future, or the fuel that builds it. The decision has always been yours. 10 years from today, you'll either thank yourself for starting now, or you'll wish you had. Time will keep moving with you or without you. One day, someone will ask you how you change your life. I hope your answer isn't, I wish I had started. I hope your answer is, I started, even when I was afraid. The next chapter of your life isn't waiting for another Monday, another month, or another year. It's waiting for one decision. The decision you make after this video ends. So before you leave, make one promise to yourself. Not to me, not to anyone else. Promise that when you wake up tomorrow, you'll do the one thing you've been avoiding. Because 10 years from now, your future self is silently hoping that today is the day you finally begin. If this video reached your heart, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs this message today. And if you're ready to build a future your next 10 years will thank you for, subscribe, because this is only the beginning.